Oh yeah, I see the name now. So cotton, metalware, coffee. Ooh, coffee. And tobacco. Oh boy.
These numbers tell you how many commodities in the town are per day and how much could be produced. If, for example, workers or raw materials are missing, this slows down the production. You should only produce the commodities that are scarce in the area, because the production of commodities is really expensive, and if you create an oversupply, the prices go down and you make losses. That also applies to other producers in the town. If they make losses with their commodities, they shut down production and tear down their businesses. I'm only telling you this in case you ever have plans like that.
God, are you a reader? That's exactly what I do in the PC version. Make them tear down their buildings, and then I'm the only supplier.
Check which commodities are in demand here. Vegetables are such a commodity, and Cartagena does not produce vegetables at the moment, but could. Vegetables are also scarce in the neighboring towns. You will quickly realize that when you trade. Since vegetables are high on the list, they have a big meaning for smaller towns.
Really? Now let's look at our vegetables, because you know, vegetables are very important, people. You gotta eat your vegetables or you'll get scurvy. Oh yeah,
So, vegetable cultivation seems to be a good idea. Close this dialog now and open the construction menu for this.
But I want to look down. I don't see vegetables. I see weed. Basic goods. Oh, I think I see the vegetable thing now. It looks like corn.
In the first section of buildings you can construct are town buildings like residentials or chapels. But we'll get to that in the next lesson.
Going to the chapel and I'm gonna get married. Yeah. Okay, well. Alright. I clicky clicky. Clicky clicky.
You can find production businesses in the second section. The darkened businesses can't be built here. The conditions for that are... If you move the camera to the town of Necoclí, south of Cartagena, you can see how the possible businesses change. Of course, you can't just build anything anywhere. First of all, you need a trade permit so that you can trade and your fame increases. Only then you can get a building permission for businesses. If you even want to construct town buildings, you have to get the town administration rights from the viceroy. Now take a look at Cartagena to see the possible building sites for vegetable cultivation. Select a business and zoom in close to the town until building sites in different colors become visible. The plots are divided into two colors, rather negative and neutral. Gray fields mean disadvantages. Move the focus to such a field. You can see that the operation would have a negative effect on the satisfaction of the residents in several residential areas.
Okay. I can't click the button, so can I put it here? I'll just find another gray section or something. Okay, what now?
There are no negative factors on the neutral fields. There you should now build a vegetable farm.
Okay.
Good. The construction contract is given. Here you can see which construction materials are needed and how much these materials and the construction costs.
20,000, alright.
You don't have to worry about the construction workers, but they can only start working when the construction commodities are in stock in the town. Help with this, if necessary. Close the construction menu again and move the focus to the business you just commissioned. In the info area, you can see who owns the building and if there are any commodities missing for construction. If so, you can either get them and sell them to the town, or you can wait until another merchant did. Without workers, nothing works, of course. Otherwise, you would have to harvest the carrots yourself. Open the town dialogue by selecting an empty field or a town building. Here you can see how many job seekers there are in the town currently. They come with treasure fleets from Europe to the Viceroy, and from there are distributed via trade convoys to the other towns. You can help with a trick here. When you dismiss the sailors, they automatically become job seekers. In order for job seekers to come to the town and stay until they find a job, the satisfaction in the town must be at least 40%. This is usually not a problem. As towns get bigger, the demands of their inhabitants grow. But workers also need housing for themselves and their families. If there is not enough of it in the town, your business cannot hire new employees.
Eventually you gotta start having your own homes for the people.
If you really are the administrator of a town, as it is the case with your hometown, nobody else builds buildings but you. So you have to provide enough housing. On the contrary, if you are not the administrator, you have to wait until the town does it. If the town is doing well and there are enough building materials, it won't take long.
That's different, because it used to be you could have like the main merchant, and then you and stuff to build and stuff, and you'd be fighting with that person.
Let's speed things up a bit. Your farm is now operational and has all the workers. Now, switch to the production tab and select vegetables. Here, you can see the vegetable production of the town. Your businesses are also a part, and from tomorrow on, you can see which commodities your new business produces daily. As long as you don't have your own warehouse in the town, the produced vegetables will be sold to the town daily at the current price. As long as your business is running efficiently and the town is not drowning in an oversupply of vegetables, there is nothing wrong with that. Of course, you can prevent oversupply by selling the quantities to other towns yourself. For example, by using trade routes. Neighbors drown in vegetables, you can also stop your production completely for a while, prevent the price drop of the commodities. Vegetables are cultivated. Other commodities, such as iron and coal, are mined. There are handicraft businesses where raw materials are converted, such as weaving mills. Here, cotton is spun and into cloth. Such a weaving mill is right now in Cartagena. To work! Very good. Let's speed this up. Now leave the construction menu and select the weaving mill to see its production.
Alright.
Here you can see what raw materials you need for your cloth production. As long as you don't have a warehouse in the where the commodities are in stock, the business automatically buys the required cotton from the town as needed and sells the produced cloth back to the town. And the lesson on the basics of production is already over. You know why you should only produce commodities that are in demand. Also, you should always make sure that your businesses have enough raw materials, because otherwise you will pay your workers to just sit around.
Yes.
You have already learned how to boost production in the towns, but in towns like your hometown, which you manage yourself, you also have control over the living conditions and can also optimize the production of your businesses. Open the construction menu. Directly in the first category, you will find all buildings that do not produce commodities. They create living space, increase the satisfaction of the inhabitants, or attract workers to the town. Move the cursor over the buildings and see the information about them. As you can see, many have positive effects on other buildings or even the whole town. The most important building besides the businesses is, of course, the residential area. Because you should build. A residential area can accommodate a lot of people. This is good because most work families, children, partners, old people, etc. Only about every fourth works at all. So we need 4 times as much living as workers. Otherwise, no new people will come down. If you look at the possible building sites for residential areas in Port Royale, you will see different colors. These indicate whether there are advantages or disadvantages for the building site. This coloring means that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Move the cursor over one of these to see what the advantages are and where they come from. Here the reasons are the tavern and the chapel. If they are nearby, the property of a residential area is, and it can grow much bigger. But nobody likes to live near cultivation or mining companies. There's hustle and bustle. There is also noise, and so the satisfaction of residents decreases. And such negative even add up. Find a good place for a residential area and commission it.
Sure it's like right in the middle. I like it, but I hate it. Go with that one, or I could just go with the happy people. Let's just go with I'm sure people like church,
The
right?
situation is different with handicraft. Here, residential areas have a positive effect because the workers have a short way to work. But also companies that supply the right raw material for the craft have a positive effect. Choose brewery for once. The most productive building sites for a brewery are located in residential areas and farms, because the workers then have a short distance to work and grain is needed for brewing. Now build a brewery. Very good. By the way, crafting business needs more than resource. It will receive an additional bonus for each resource business nearby.
Oh boy.
And another building has a positive effect on production. The tool maker. Select it. With the tool maker, nearby mining operate the coal mine more efficient. I think you've understood the principle. Just always take a close look at the advantages and disadvantages of such a building. That's what the information is there for. And as always, one little thing. For many handicraft businesses like the brew, special town buildings like the tool maker, you need a commission. You can get from your viceroy when you have an aim. We will talk about this in the next lesson.
Oh, okay. Sure we will. What? Yeah, build. Whatever. No, just back up. Sure. I'm trying to do the next talkie talk thing. No, stop giving me speed. Ha ha ha. There we go. Yes.
Welcome to the Department of Diplomacy at Sammy's School for Emerging Caribbean Merchants. Today's topic is Viceroys, the fast track to fame. Simply put, the Viceroy is your nation's top boss in the colonies. He watches you, gives you information, and shows his appreciation when you serve your nation.
Can I kill him and become the Viceroy?
You can always contact the Viceroy. Get in touch with him now.
Oh god, sorry. I'm drinking.
Here in the first tab, the Viceroy informs you about the current situation. Especially important for you are the relations to the other nations, because you usually can't sail to the towns of hostile nations.
What? I go where I want. I'm an adult.
But the Viceroy also has tasks for you. You don't have to fulfill them, but if you do, you will be rewarded with fame. Not unimportant, because without fame, you won't get concessions for handicraft businesses, no great vessels, and no town administrations. Now, switch to the Fame tab. As you can see, your current fame in England is quite capable of improvement. But this is normal, because you are still at the beginning of your career. If you have collected enough fame, you will receive a fame point, which you can exchange with the Viceroy for certain privileges. England regularly sends treasure fleets from Europe to the town of the Viceroy to collect colonial commodities. Here you can see how many commodities the fleet would like to take with them next time, and how many of them you have sold in Port Royale. This is a double deal for you. Good for your wallet and good for your reputation. If you have a fame point in stock and enough workers in a town, you can ask the Viceroy to manage a town. Then everything will be done your way. No house or business will be built without your permission. In the end, a town will be built according to your ideas. Now, open the next section. Life would of course be much easier without our European neighbors. Here you can find out which lousy creatures are their viceroys and where they live. Thank God you only deal with your own Viceroy. It is not your job to confront these sad figures with the finesse of English diplomacy. Now, on to the next section. Pirates.
Yay, pirates!
All Caribbean pirates the Viceroy learns about are listed here. It is for your own fame and freedom to hunt down these ungodly spawn. Should you ever manage to track a pirate convoy to its hideout, you can actually smoke it out and gain even more prestige. Now, proceed to the last section, the concessions. Of course, not just any merchant can open a brewery on a whim. For handicraft businesses, combat vessels, and special town buildings, you need the approval of your Viceroy. This also applies to any captain you want to hire. For each fame point, you can get a concession here. You got it? Then congratulations on the successful completion of this course. Look around a little more, and this lesson will end.
Hey. I was reading that.
The acrid smell of gunpowder steam and the crashing of bursting tailgates. Where there are pirates and enemy military convoys, there are naval battles. To make your first battle not your last, there's this lesson. To get started, select your convoy. It's anchored south of Port Royale. There are 3 types of convoys you can attack. First of all, there's pirates. you can always attack them. Your viceroy will be happy and accordingly your fame will rise. If you want to act like a pirate, you have to raise the black flag on your convoy and disguise yourself as a pirate. In this mode, you can also attack friendly convoys, but this will damage your reputation with the viceroy. And thirdly, there are convoys of other nations when there is war with them. If you got yourself a letter of marque beforehand, such attacks are legal because you can then act on behalf of the viceroy. It's called politics. Here you can activate the convoy's patrol mode. In this mode, the convoy monitors its surroundings at sea and attacks all enemy convoys on its own. Activate the mode now. Soon the pirate Calico Jack will pass by here and your convoy will attack him. Then you can choose if you want to join the fight or if you want your convoy to fight on its own.
Oh, get him. Get him.
This sign will alert you to an incipient naval battle. Select it in time to join the battle. If you wait too long, the battle will be fought automatically. Here you will be informed about the convoys that are going to fight against each other. On the left is always your convoy, on the right the convoy of the opponent.
Yeah, they got more fist power. We got more cannons, we got more people. Same number of boats apparently. Oh, of convoy, so of like the trading ships. And then I have 3 battleships and you got 2. Oh, I'm gonna sink your battleship.
The most important factor is the approximate fighting strength of the convoys, because usually the stronger convoy will win. Pirates often have no interest in destroying a convoy completely. They want commodities, and they cannot plunder a destroyed convoy or bankrupt merchants a second time. So if things turn bad, it is advisable to simply capitulate.
So what now?
Now, choose if you want to participate in the battle. You are now in the middle of a battle and you can get involved. The data of your convoy is displayed on the left, the data of your opponent on the right. Your vessels are shown below. The naval battle will take place in rounds. Each round, all vessels have a turn once. This also means, for example, that if you have more vessels than your opponent, you will have more turns. When it is your turn, one of your vessels is selected and highlighted in the display. If you have other vessels that have not performed any actions this round, you may select another vessel. On your active vessel, the hit points are displayed here. The more sections the hit points, it sinks. In addition, your active vessel will also show how much damage a broadside is likely to cause. The cannons play an important role here, but also the sailors. If the number of sailors falls below half of the maximum possible, the damage is reduced as well. Here, the effective strength of the crew is displayed. It is mainly determined by the sailors on the vessel, but also the type of vessel plays a role. The strength of the crew is important in naval boarding. The greater the superiority of a crew, the greater the probability of success in naval boarding. Each vessel has movement points, depending on the type of vessel. For each movement point, a vessel can move 1 field in its direction of travel. The maneuvering points of a vessel are also dependent on the type of vessel. A turn of 30 degrees costs 1 point, so a full turn would require 12 points.